talk about the civic capacity, the capacity of community-based organizations, folks in community, and what those connections really are about.
So I think what this administration has done a great job of, which we're trying to also model locally, is breaking down those silos between, in that case, federal agencies here at city, county, school district, to really be able to do this work better on the ground, use existing resources, braid funding streams.
The first one is really that our investments in this type of work have to both be urgent and they have to be patient. As we start seeing what's going on in communities, my observation is that over the past, when I started doing my work in community development 30 years ago, nobody wanted to live in cities. You'd try to find ways to incent people to move into cities. Now cities and towns are the hot places to go. And so there's this urgency around, if we're really trying to do the work to preserve the neighborhoods for the people that have been living in the neighborhoods and have suffered through the tough times, there is an urgent notion to doing this work and doing this business right, which means that there's a level of investment that has to go along with that urgency. And we have some examples of that I could talk about in our work in East Baltimore. At the same time, though, because there are communities that have been left on the sides for a long time, we want them to have voice, they want to have voice, and that requires the opposite side of the urgency, which is the patience, to be able to enable them to be at the table, to be able to process what's going on, to be able to give voice to their concerns.
If you want to help people, shut up and listen. So one line that I got really fond of using over the years came from a community member in a meeting whose grandmother used to tell her, "Don't do about me without me. Don't do about me without me." And it spoke, I think, volumes about the legacy that we have of bad assumptions that we make about people in the name of helping. Building civic capacity, to me, I think means how do we create these platforms for people and families to participate in civic life? And that suggests common purpose, relationships among people, connectedness, networks that can support people solving problems, and the ability to act.
This is not, college degree type of stuff. It is basically, communicating to people what the shared goal or outcome is, and letting them go and bring back the information, their own reconnaissance of their own neighborhood.
But in this next period of the work, where we've gone is knowing that top-down doesn't work, knowing that bottom-up doesn't work, and that somehow we have to actually be able to be in real conversations as human beings, right, rather than roles, about what we're going to do together to build, an inclusive and equitable society. And that starts with each of us being comfortable in the room with difference.